All right, so the first web page we're going to look into is here on Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, is dealing with astrological signs. All right, and as you can see here, I was telling you about the chart that they had, which is a round chart that has the 12 signs of the so-called zodiac on here. All right, Esau uses it on the left-hand side. But go ahead, brother, you can read that.
It says astrological signs represent 12 equal segments or divisions of the zodiac. According to astrology, celestial phenomena reflect or govern human activity on the principle of as above, so below.
Right, so it says astrological signs represent 12 equal segments or divisions of the zodiac. See, that's what, remember how the scripture said there's 12 manner of fruit? Well, it is true, there's 12 manner of fruit, but Esau uses it on the left-hand side.
Yep.
It says, according to astrology, which is a study of the stars, because the word astro comes from the Latin aster, which means star, and ology means the study, so the study of the stars. Celestial phenomena reflects or govern human activity on the principle of as above, so below. Now that term as above, so below is a Masonic and a witchcraft sign or phrase, term. Just like do as thou wilt. That's another one. There's many of these demonic signs. Stand upon the square. Can you help the widow's son or something to that effect? Right. So all of these are Masonic or witchcraft terms and symbols. Now that term as above, so below was goes back to this guy named Hermes Trismegistus. All right, which Hermes Trismegistus, basically all that is just a combination of the Greek god Hermes and the Egyptian god Thoth. All right, so those two combinations of them two gods together, that's where you get the term Hermes Trismegistus. And they both were what's the word I'm looking for? They both were into what they call writings and magic. All right, and so what happened was, it says they had this thing called the Emerald Tablet. Now on the Emerald Tablet, what they had 13 sayings or 13 writings, right? And the second writing says, as it is above, or as it is below, so it is above. As it is above, so it is below. And this should be a miracle, something to that effect, for a miracle. So basically, that's where they got that term from. Now they say that so as above, so below, as below, so above. That's the top phrase for mysticism, you know, which is on the left-hand side again. So read on, brother.
It says, so that the 12 signs are held to represent 12 basic personality types or characteristic modes of expression. There are sun signs and moon signs, which both depend on your date of birth.
Right, go ahead.
Various approaches to measuring and dividing the sky are currently used by different systems of astrology. Although the tradition of the zodiac's names and symbols remain consistent, Western astrology measures from equinox and solstice points.
Right, what you got your summer equinox, your vernal equinox. I'm sorry, the summer solstice, right. Winter solstice. You have your vernal equinox and your autumnal, which is fall equinox. All right, so now that's pretty much it. I just wanted to give you, the point on the astrological signs and the zodiacs and what they use them for. And really, it goes deeper than that, because it goes into witchcraft, which the term "as above, so below" represents that. Right. So you can know. Right. All right, now from there, I got this other web page called "The Lady of the Moon and the Goatfoot God: Witchcraft and the Zodiac" by Carolyn Tully. So now this is a phrase by this guy Aleister Crowley, and this is what he said. And he basically is like a poem that he wrote. So you can read that, brother.
Okay.
And remember, Aleister Crowley is held very highly among these Masons and witches, which pretty much the so-called white man is all into that. Their main thing is into witchcraft. All right, the occult and all that. But go ahead, brother.
It says, "Our Lady of the Moon, enchantment's queen, and of midnight the potent sorceress, O goddess from the darkest deep of time, Diana, Isis, Tanith, Artemis, your power we invoke to aid us here.
Right, now this is Doreen Valiente. But now this is the one that I was talking about right here. No, I mean, I wanted to read that too, but read this one.
Right. Now this says, hear me, Lord of the stars, for thee I have worshipped ever, with stains and sorrows and scars.
Right, so basically he was worshiping Satan.
Yep.
You know, he's the Lord of the stars. That's Satan, old day star, which really that represents the so-called white man, Lucifer, which represents the so-called white man, but their God is Satan. Go ahead.
Right. It says, hear me, Lord of the stars, for thee I have worshipped ever, with stains and sorrows and scars, with joyful endeavor. Hear me, O lily white goat, crisp as thicket of thorns, with the collar of gold for thy throat, a scarlet bow for thy horns. Aleister Crowley.
Right. So basically he wrote this poem, but this poem just shows you that he's they're into witchcraft. All right. Now read this paragraph here.
Right. It says, the gods of witchcraft are a pair, a dual deity, a goddess and her consort, the god, or her consort, the god.
Right. So in other words, a goddess and the god. That's why the Romans worship who? Janus, the two-faced god. That's what they named January after. And in the Vatican, they have two keys. They call it the keys of Peter, but those are not the keys of Peter. Those are the keys of Sibyl and I forgot and Janus. I believe it's Janus, Sibyl and Janus. You know, just to make sure I look it up and post it for you, brothers. But I believe it's the keys of Sibyl and Janus, which is a two-faced god. So that's what these devils worship. That's why the scriptures called the Roman Catholic Church the false prophet, because they worship these different deities and these different gods. But go ahead.
Right. It says, like the Chinese symbol of yin and yang, the goddess and god of witchcraft are complementary and inseparable, two sides of the one coin. This holy pair are often symbolized by such natural phenomena as the moon and sun, the earth and sky, or the human female, and the mythical goat-footed male.
Right, which is what? Baphomet.
Yep.
You know, in which they, I'm sorry, the goat of Mendes, because Baphomet is the androgynous god, both male and female. So the goat of Mendes, that's what they worship also. Go ahead. Or Pan. Go ahead.
In many modern witchcraft traditions, the goddess is envisaged as ruling the summer months of the year from the vernal, which is spring equinox, to the autumnal equinox, while the god rules the winter part of the year from the autumnal equinox to the vernal equinox.
Right, that's what they always say, Father Winter or something like that.
Right.
Go ahead.
It says, this assigned rulership gives us an indication of which zodiac signs are attributed to the god and goddess. Being a shapeshifter, the goddess can manifest through each of the 12 zodiac signs.
Right, so in other words, they shapeshift through each zodiac sign. You know, the female takes on 6 and the male takes on 6, which is all bullshit, you know. Go ahead. But I'm just showing you this just to show you how important the zodiac is to these devils, you know, and worshiping these different deities and fake gods and goddesses.
And if I may add, really that's what a lot of all these religions are doing. They're worshiping the star, the sun, moon, and the stars.
Yep. And then some of them do it knowingly, some of them do it unknowingly. You know, because some of them don't know what's going on. They're just blindly following.
Yeah, following.
You know, but some of them know what they're doing.
And like you got, which comes to mind, you got amongst niggas, you got a sect called 5% Nation, or 5%ers, and that's why they always speak about the God. They're the nation of gods and goddess,
right?
Earths, kings and queens,
right? Wisdoms and all that.
Wisdom, you know, wisdom and all that stuff. They always speak about the sun, moon, and the stars, which basically that's what they do. They worship. You know, we're reading about them, which is really witchcraft. That's eating of the
tree of knowledge of
good and evil on the left hand side.
That's right. That's right. Then you got assholes like Eddie Long, Farrakhan, Price, you know, and all these different Joel Osteen, you know, and all these different TV evangelists. You know, the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, the Cardinals, and all of them. They're all worshiping and partaking of the tree of knowledge of good and evil on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
Okay, so now it says, However, the two solstice points of Cancer and Capricorn are the specific celestial thrones. Astrology speaking, then, the goddess is signified by the sign of Cancer and the god by Capricorn.
Right, so that's pretty much it. We're not going to read anymore. Just to make a point, you know, on how important it is for these devils to worship the zodiac and these different gods and fake gods and goddesses. You know, right. And the only reason why we bringing this stuff out is just for edification of you brothers out there, so you can know what the zodiac was talking about and the 12 manner of fruit. Now, in the scriptures, when you read about it, it's talking about the tree of life, you know, which is up in the heavens, which we're going to get in the kingdom, you know. But now they're using it on the left-hand side, which is the knowledge of good and evil.
Right, and that's why the Most High commanded us not to worship the star or the sun or the moon.
That's right.
He said, really, he said you should have no other God before thee.
That's right.
Because that's what throughout the years, especially, I mean, Esau is the devil anyway, but Jake always got into that, you know, because that was them trying to worship the zodiac and stuff like that, or the tree of knowledge of good and evil on the left hand side.
Right, because that's what the nations were worshiping. You know, yep. That's what the Lord said. Don't mix up with them. Don't get involved in what they get involved in. All right, so let's go back, you know, to the scriptures to show you some more of this breakdown. All right, so as you can see, we just went through those web pages, you know, just to show you, you know, that these devils worship the left-hand side, which is a tree of knowledge of good and evil. So now from there, what I want to do is I want to go to the book of Ezekiel 28:3, because these devils, they've searched out everything. You know, these devils, they don't, there's nothing that can be hidden from them. That's the spirit that the Lord gave them to fulfill prophecy. Not because they're so smart and so wise, because if they were smart, they would understand their latter end, as the scriptures say. But they're not smart at all. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 3. It says, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. Mm-hmm. There is no secret, Salaki. It says, there is no secret that they can hide from thee.
Right, so they've searched out everything. Now go from there to Ezekiel 47:12. All right, because that's what these things are written for, so that we can know what it was talking about. So now that we dealing with this issue, you know, with the so-called zodiac, now you beginning to understand why Esau does the things that they do. You know, why the Most High said he's going to destroy them. I mean, outside of what you could actually see, there's things that they're doing in the dark and behind closed doors that the people are not seeing. And what's that? That's these rituals. They actually sacrifice actual people, actual children. That's why children go missing, because them devils are sacrificing them. Okay, because that's what their fake gods require in order for them to keep their kingdom going. But what they don't understand is that that's the Most High working on the left-hand side through his through the wicked angels to allow them to do that. And matter of fact, before you read that, brother, go to the book of Psalms, the 78th chapter. You know, because people probably, you said wicked angels. God ain't got wicked angels are cast out of heaven. What you talking about? That's another fable.
Right. Well, yeah, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. Go to Psalm 78 and 49, and I'm sure, you know, Elder Menazes, maybe some of the other brothers will tackle, you know, them controversial topics like that. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, this is the book of Psalms chapter 78, verse 49. It says, he cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath and indignation and trouble by sending evil angels among them.
That's right. So that was the Egyptians.
That's right.
You know, and when you read in the Apocrypha, it goes into them, the evil apparitions and all this stuff that was coming to them. So the Most High was plaguing them damn Egyptians. So the Most High said he sent evil angels among them. So right now, the evil angels, which are really on point, they don't go against the Most High. The Most High created them. The evil angels, right now, they're working with Esau on the left-hand side. Matter of fact, let's continue on with Ezekiel. Ezekiel 47:12 to go a little further into the so-called zodiac. You know.
Okay, Ezekiel chapter 47, verse 12. And by the river upon the bank thereof, on this side and on that side, shall grow all trees for meat.
Right.
whose leaf shall not fade.
Now that's twofold. That's talking about actual trees on the earth, and it's also talking about in the heavens. Go ahead. But the tree in the heaven is a tree of knowledge of life, and then you have the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Which when you look up into the heavens, that's the tree of life because it's an order. But the tree of knowledge of good and evil is here on the earth because that's what man gets into, worshiping that wickedness. Go ahead.
It says, neither shall the fruit thereof be consumed.
Go ahead.
It shall bring forth new fruit according to his month.
Right, it shall bring forth new fruit according to its month. Go ahead.
Because their waters they issued out of the sanctuary, and the fruit thereof shall be for meat.
Right, and then when you read this whole chapter, it's talking about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You know, because it speaks about the waters coming up to the feet and coming up to the knees, coming up to the waist. That's talking about the knowledge. All right, and then when you read on down, that's talking about the zodiac. So-called zodiac. I say so-called zodiac because that's what Esau calls
right.
it. It's really the 12 constellations in the heavens that were set up to give not a certain knowledge of every month. You got something?
Yeah, and real quick too, and add on to what this brother's saying. Back to the tree of life again, which that's in the kingdom, but really the tree of life is this knowledge. Okay, now I'm gonna read the scripture which the Most High took this thing away, the understanding of it.
Which I
oh, I'm sorry, I jumped the gun. I'm sorry. Hey man, I'm sorry, brother.
It's all the spirit, brother.
I'm sorry, brother.
Now go ahead, you can bring it out.
Sorry, brother.
You can bring it out. No, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna read it then.
You know, cause that's part of what happened. You know, when Adam went off through Eve, then he knew about the tree. Then he knew about both sides.
Yeah.
But then he wanted to go back to the tree of knowledge, which we're not going to get to the kingdom.
Right.
Because if he was able to